Hey everybody, welcome to topic number 15, saving money. So before I begin to do the first objective, I would like to kind of looping back what we talked about in topic number 11. So here is some of the suggestions. When is the best time to invest for your future? So we talk a, a lot about personal debt back in topic number 11. So the way how normally people go about dealing with this is having the family emergency fund. Okay, $1,000 or 500. If you make less than $25,000 a year, you can just simply save up $500 for emergency cash. If you make more than $25,000, you can actually save up $1,000 for emergency fund. Okay, so these are cash or money you can easily access to it. Okay, but this is not something like a piece of money or anything like that. This is for like absolute emergency. Okay, so what you want to do is save out some emergency fund, so that will actually give you a little bit of peace of mind as you're tackling with your debt. All right. So having emergency fund in place while paying off all the debt except the mortgage. Okay. We're talking about car payment, all that stuff. Um, you want to go ahead and pay those off. So once a debt is paid off, remember now, once you don't pay other people a lot of money, okay, then you actually gonna have a lot of cash on hand. So what you want to do next is put 3 to 6 months, okay, monthly household spending into the emergency fund. Okay, you want to fully fund your emergency fund. So a fully funded emergency fund is actually 3 to 6 months. The reason why 3 to 6 months is because in case if you get injured at work, then normally it will take insurance company about 6 months to kick in your disability. So while you wait for the disability to kick in, you want to have some cash on hand to pay off all your household bills, okay, and buying food and such. So once you pay off your debts, okay, once you paid off your debt, except the mortgage, you want to have 3 to 6 months, okay, worth of emergency fund. And once you're fully funded your emergency fund, then you begin to actually putting more money, okay, into your mortgage. So remember now we are now having a lot of cash in the bank in the bank. So if once you fully funded your emergency fund, then that cash can actually be used to pay off your mortgage. Okay, because the sooner you pay off your mortgage, then the sooner the house is actually yours. Okay, so what happens now when you have no debt? Okay, no more mortgage payments. Now you can begin to allocate 10 to 15% of your take home into your retirement account, such as like 401k. All right. So this is something I created a long time ago. So this spreadsheet shows you, this is basically using compound interest formula and using, I believe, 4% inflation. Okay. Let's assuming there's a 4% inflation. So the money market account or the mutual funds or your retirement funds, okay, that you invest your money into, if we can save $100 a month, if we can save $100 a month, that means $1,200 in a year. We're gonna basically what we're gonna do is put $1,000 or $100 every month for the next 30 years into this money market account or maybe like a mutual fund at the rate of return of 12%. So at the end of year number one, okay, with the inflation being calculated, you should have 1350. So remember now, you put in $1,200 at the end of the year, and the account will actually grow into $1,350.61. So you earn a little bit of interest, okay, by investing. At the end of second year, okay, you put in $2,400. So this account has earned you about $400 in interest. So let's keep on going. Okay, 30 years of 30 years of working as we keep on putting $100 a month at 4% inflation rate. At 17th year, you actually have $100,000 in your account. So if I keep going, at the end of 30 years, you're almost a millionaire. Okay, this is actually $904,000. So I put this thing next one in green. So at the end of 31 year, you actually have over $1 million in your account. Okay, getting rich is not a sprint. Like I said before, it's actually a marathon. So as the year goes on, so let's say we don't touch this money, we just keep on putting $1,200. Okay, at year number 36, you're a multimillionaire. Okay, so these number right next to it, the difference is actually referring to subtraction between the 2 years. So that means this is how much interest, okay, how much interest is actually building. So right here at year number 43, at the end of year number 43, this account is actually earning you $1 million in interest. Okay, this is how wealthy people stays wealthy, and this is how they get wealthy. So imagine if we go up to 18% at the rate of return, we become millionaire a lot sooner. Okay, putting the same amount of money, but by having a higher rate of return, okay, you actually you actually make more money quicker. Okay, this is the power of the exponential explosion I talked about before. So when we put our money into the most well-funded financial machine, okay, in the world, eventually the money will actually shoot up very, very quickly. All right. So how come people don't do this? The question is, how come people never do this? Because they don't have a $1,200 a year saved up. Okay. Um, we spend money on anything we want, and when we don't have the money to purchase something, we always borrow money. So if you continuously to borrow money to buy the things that you don't have money to pay for, then you will not be able to have money to save. So I mentioned this before, where it sounds very, very crazy that people actually borrow against their 401k account. Okay, I mean that just flat out not very smart financially, because your 401k is actually building up more and more money in that account as compared to the money you put in. Okay, it's building up, interest earned on interest. But then when you borrow against it, that means you took the money out, so it's no longer is no you know you no longer have interest on top of interest to help you even earn more interest. So borrowing against your 401k is absolutely a bad idea, okay? Because that's your nest egg, that's your retirement you actually borrow against, okay? Like I said, things does happen, okay? Things does happen. That's why we want to have emergency fund in place, okay? Just in case of the emergency. The emergency are going to happen. Okay, that's why we need to fully fund our emergency first. Okay, so this chart kind of explains it. How Mr. Chan can actually make you a millionaire just like that. All right. So what we wanted to calculate here is something called the present value. Okay. This formula for the present value actually come from compound interest formula. So as you can recall, the compound interest formula before is the future value is equal to P times parenthesis 1 plus R over N whole thing to the N times T power. So this whole right hand side is only one term. So if I want to solve for P, all I have to do is divide both sides by my coefficient, which is this part. to get P by itself, which is a present value. That's what this formula is. It's A divided by this part. All right, so this is still using compound interest formula. So present value is the amount of principal needed now in order to reach a future value amount. Okay, capital letter A is our future value, R is your APR, N is the number of a compound interval per year. T is time or terms in years. So let's give a try. Use a formula for present value of money to calculate the amount you needed to invest now in one lump sum to have $25,000 after 10 years. So let's say we have a lump sum of $25,000. Okay. Oh, well, excuse me. Let's say we want $25,000 in 10 years. So what should be the lump sum now? Okay, a lot of these computation, we are assuming we are not adding extra money into this account. So the present value you needed now in order to have a $25,000 in the future. So capital letter A is 25,000 divided by parenthesis 1 plus R is APR is 3%, 0.03 over compounded quarterly. Quarterly means N is 4. So divided by N is 4. Whole thing raised into the N times T. Okay, so like I showed y'all before, if you want the calculator to compute the exponent for you, you gotta put them in the parentheses. I find that now it's easier to go ahead and figure out what this number is on the exponent. So let's give a try, okay? Gotta be very careful how we key this in because you do have an exponent right here, which is gonna be 40, but if we're not careful, then the exponent will be computed beforehand, okay? So what we want to do is go ahead and type in the $25,000 divided by, I want the entire denominator be calculated at one time. So I'm going to put an extra parenthesis, okay, for the entire denominator. Now I'm going to open another parenthesis for the 1 plus 0.03 divided by 4. Close the parenthesis, then raising your exponent, which is 40. Then close this big old denominator bracket because that tells the calculator to compute all the denominator first. So the lump sum we needed now is $18,541.20. Okay. All right, try another one. Okay. A college predicted that in 16 years it will take $300,000 to attend the college for 4 years. A couple has a substantial amount of cash and wishes to invest a lump sum of money for their child's college fund. How much should the couple put aside in an account with an APR of 8% compounded monthly? Compounded monthly. All right. So same thing. In the future, it's going to be $300,000. So what should this lump sum be? What should this present value be that we need to go ahead and put in? Remember now, I'm not adding any more dollars into this investment. So $300,000 divided by parenthesis 1 plus R is 0.08 divided by compounded monthly means N is 12 raising to the n times t, which is 30. Okay, so before I go to my calculator, I'm going to figure out what is that exponent going to be. 12 times 30, which is 360. So now I'm going to say $300,000 divided by, open the parenthesis for the entire denominator, open another parenthesis for the 1 plus 0.08 divided by 12, close parenthesis for the 1 plus, raising to 360, and then close the entire denominator. That lump sum is 27,000. Make sure I did it right. Divided by 12, compound the monthly. Yep. $27,000. 433 and 1 cent. Okay. Oh, I knew I was wrong. 16 years, not 30 years. I'm sorry. Compound is 16 years. I don't know where I get the 30 from. Sorry about that. 12 times 16 is actually 192. So I'm gonna change the 160 to 192. Sorry about that. I knew I was off by something. Wait, so we need 83,000. 766 and 26 cents. All right. So now you might ask, well, I don't have these kind of lump sum money right now to get to what I wanted in the future. I do agree with that. I do agree. Not many people have those kind of cash on hand. So think about this. If we don't have debt, okay, then we can, and our emergency fund is fully funded, then we actually have cash on hand, okay, to actually save, okay, to actually save to buy what we wanted. Okay, thinking about that, think about that. This is very, very uncommon that people will say, okay, you need to save our money to buy what you want, because we are being trained, we are being sold as, let's go ahead and get what you want now by opening a credit card account, by go to the bank, borrow some money. And by doing so, we actually put ourselves constantly to be in debt. Okay. So I will challenge you by thinking, okay, what will happen, if all the money I pay out in the debt, car payments, credit card payment, imagine I don't have to pay people. What can I do with all that cash? Okay, I'm going to challenge you to think on that. All right. So I will stop right here real quick, and then in the next video we will pick up from something called annuity. Okay, thank you for watching.